Ooh. Hey, we got the same hair today, sort
We
of.
did again.
We're so good at things. Leonie's ready to go. She's like, yeah, I'm in.
Yes, Leonie.
I
Well, I came in a bit earlier. That's been recording me just putting on my toe spaces.
fine. Yeah. Well, I worry that we're gonna start it and then there's no one in and we're just gonna talk like normal and it's just
Yeah.
like fucking shit, like like that, which it kind of is now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Um, but
Yeah,
that's
shit.
okay. Fuck. How's your day? I
Good,
am here.
thank you.
I am still here. That's
How's
good.
your
I'm glad.
how's your day?
What have we done today? Lots of things.
God, your yellow chair is beautiful.
It was the armchair.
Yeah, the armchair.
It's a great chair. I need to get on to Jamie and try and build one so he can give it to other people. Yeah, he can.
Hi, Carly.
Hi Carly.
Hello, how are you guys?
We're great.
Good.
Yeah.
I told Leonie that we're doing footwork and short spine for an hour. So
Yay!
I'm like, that's it. Is that Kermie?
Cammy and Olive's here with me.
I love the dog in the on the screen. It's the greatest thing.
With his giant head.
Yeah, because I love like the funniest thing when dogs are like near the computer, they're never looking at the screen. They're always looking
No.
somewhere else.
Yeah.
That's so weird. Oh, Jen, you're back.
I'm back.
Jen did a private like 2 hours ago.
Oh wow.
An hour ago. So
An
now
hour ago, Jess.
an hour ago. Sorry, Jen. So now we're ready for action again.
Nice,
We're
Shannon.
missing someone. Who are we missing? Sue, she'll be on. And I feel like there's another person we're missing. Hold on. Let me check. But that's okay. Oh, Eri, that's right. Erica is joining us today. Yeah, there you are. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm okay. You?
Great. Yeah, we're good. We're just admiring all the dogs that are coming into the visions.
Okay.
Very fun. It's very fun. How's the bodies today, everyone?
Fantastic.
Fantastic. Yeah, hopefully you feel good, Jen, after
I'm awake now.
today.
I'm relatively awake.
No, you're awake, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do this with you. Some things we're going to be looking at today is being able to do flexion when flexion from supine isn't really fun. So you've probably had some clients or folks that you've worked with in the past that are like, damn, I hate like lifting up from laying down. And that could be because of neck things, because of thoracic stiffnesses or different reasons. So good shirt, Erica, there we go. So some things we're going to be looking from a different perspective. And generally day to day, I don't really know how good my flexion's going to be on the day. So some things may switch quickly and some things we're just not going to do because for ribs and thoracic, it just kind of sucks a lot and doesn't really help with trying to get people to be able to do exercises. So we're going to do some preps that I've been doing for myself. So there's a few weird things. So there's like a weird 100 today. There's a weird-ish teaser that we have been practicing anyway, but we're going to change it a little bit. And just some things that we're not going to do today is like big flexion from laying down. So things like backstroke, overhead's okay sometimes. That was Leonie's input and not good always. The other thing when we're looking at with the inversion type exercises, when you're dealing with rib injuries, your neck gets really mobile because that's the next best place to move. So sometimes those inversion type exercises are a little bit like quite wobbly. So that can be something you can switch out. For me, it's not bad if I'm high. So things like short spine, is okay. Rollover's generally okay, but we don't, like, I'm just not going to do that today. My goal for me is trying to get back to control balance off, which is like a mega flexion, which is like kind of otherworldly at the moment, but something that I want to work back to. There's also a bit of twisting in it, but we're thinking about this from the low body rather than the thoracic, which is not usually where we get told to twist from, but it does make a difference to the stiffness in your thoracic. So like when we're looking at those types of movements, like the twisting sections will be more cued to the low body. I'm not going to be looking at you the whole time today, but you can just yell out at any time and ask, and I'll jump up and run over. You've always also, Leonie's also here. So if I'm not doing it, she'll be doing it with you. So that's also fine. But otherwise, it's pretty much everything we've been learning the last few weeks anyway, just with a little bit of chocolate spice on top. And that's it. Yeah. All right. So we're going to start with footwork. And this is always fun because you like huffing and puffing on this microphone is really, really fun as well. So let's bring ourselves down. So for footwork, if you're on the classicals, all springs. If you're not, footwork springs. So quite heavy. And then the first thing we're going to do is just go toes on in V. So heels together and then press all the way out and hold. So once we're out this way, it's important to know where your weight is. So let the shoulder blocks drop onto you. Then just push up a bit more from your feet because it's going to give you that sense of stretch through the whole back body. That's important to know where you are in terms of ribs. Then we just come in and out. So knees bend to return and then press. So we're always trying to go for that last 5%. What this does for me is it helps to get the low part of my spine down because everything's quite stiff in my whole back now. It's a lot flatter than what I like to move with. So it does give a better sense of pressure in the low spine if you've got that in your body or on your reformer. So we'll go one more with our Pilates V. Come back in. Change for arches, so feet together, knees together, and then off we roll again. So same kind of thing. The other interesting thing we can play with here is how much we can lift our knees up. Yeah. Yes, Leonie. Ooh. Ooh. So how much can we lift our knees up? Which will take some of us out of like a more neutralish feeling to a flatter feeling in our spine. One more of those. And then heels on. Same thing. So once we're moving through, then let's really go knees up to the sky. It can present as quite a quaddy type movement. But I think if you've got people who are like, I really want to get that hamstring drag, that's also a way you can cue them in. So knees to the sky, and it forces you to have to actually use the back of your legs because you have to close your knees. Good, one more time. Toes on back in V or parallel. I'm doing parallel at the moment. Press on out, and then off we go in a good little calf stretch. So tendon stretch or calf raise. And this is an important one to get, like learn where your knees go. So quite locked at our knees. And that often gives you more of the sensation of pushing through your big toe and lifting up through your knees. Okay, 2 more times. How does your little toe figure out in that? I think it depends on your feet because not everyone's feet are created equal. So I suppose like if we're looking at all 5 balls of our toes, we just have to do the best we can because some people's toes will be like way more on an angle than others. So that's just something to look at there. Okie doke. Let's go arches on or toes on. whatever you feel a little bit more comfortable with. And you're gonna do like a, let's say like a half press out, half little press. And we're just gonna pause there. And then all I want you to do is reach your arms for your knees and just lift your chest any amount. Gross, isn't it? And then down. So it's a mini chest lift. So push out and lift, and then lower. So that's about all I've got before it's quite painful on my rib cage. So getting like the pressure from my legs makes a huge difference to my flexion. How we're going to do the 100 today though is all the way out straight. So it's kind of a nice 100. I could probably talk to you in 100. So let's press out, little chest lift. If you're on the classicals, it can be a little bit painful on the shoulders, but you do get used to it and we just go for it. So nothing quite as heavy today. For those who are not injured, you can also do one leg. So getting long legs has been one of the hardest things, and it's really quite important to remember to keep the low back either feeling long or open, because that makes a big difference to how we're going to move. Are you counting? Great. It's quite a nice 100, isn't it? It's horrible, says Leonie. So it's a much longer 100 than being lifted. So let's count back from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it in. Fabulous. Bring yourselves up, change down to short spine springs. So that's 2 for us and probably like something like 2 red on the contemporary reforms. And then take yourselves down. Feet into the straps. And then as soon as you're there, just start with some frog. So frog is a great way, a great setup for short spine at the best of times. So when we're frogging, if you're on, the contemporary machines have a lot better range when it comes to feet in straps. So what we want to think a little bit about is, where do I need to put my legs to let my back drop down onto the mat? And that's where we're going to go. We can go back to the knees bending again. And the pull constantly comes from your low back. So whether we're pushing in or pulling out, that's where we want to focus more of our weight distribution. We'll talk a bit more about that when we get toward our teaser stuff. Excellent. The next one, let's press out and hold, and then take that straight into short spine. So this is one, if we're compressing the thoracic too much, that can be quite painful. So it's more a question of where can our legs go, and it might be quite high. You might be able to come in a bit lower. It's not a huge thing for me being upside down in this particular position, just because you're quite supported. But things like long spine that are a little bit more open, free range. Well, I like it when people come to the door. Just, we're in the middle of a class. Thanks, Leonie. Now on this last one, let's take our time a lot more. So we're going to go over and hold. And then all you're going to do is take about 4 breaths. Every time you breathe, lift up a little bit more. Knees to the shoulder blocks. Take another 4 breaths. And just let yourself relax into it. And then roll yourselves down. Handles into your hands. And then we'll come straight into coordination. So coordination, I'm doing head down today, but you can do head up absolutely. So all we're going to do is press arms and legs long, open, close, knees bend, elbows bend. And again, out, open, close, bend. So with head down, to make it a little more challenging, legs just go lower. So that's its own, like hardness. So low legs. Excellent. One more time. Good. Now we're going to bring ourselves into our first of our twisting exercises. So hands on shoulder blocks. And this is more like a corkscrew prep or a spine twist. And all we're doing is knees to chest, twist over to one side, come back through the middle, twist over to the other side. Leonie said she likes it, everyone. So holding on to the blocks gives you a lot more range to go. So the other cool thing here is we can really hold our thoracic down. If you're really stiff in your thoracic anyway, you're going to feel this as you twist. If you like a little bit more of a stretch or even like a strength thing actually, you can lift your knees up toward your elbows. That can feel really good. And it just alleviates some of the tension from our spine. So we'll take one more on either side. Finish your last one so you're even. And then we'll bring ourselves to sitting. And change for something you would do like hug a tree and shaving on. And I say that because we are going to do the front rowing. Oh, I wore the wrong pants today. Yeah, slidey pants. So it's never as fun. So when we're rowing facing forward, this is still something we can do. So I don't really have too much of a problem with these versions, but facing back don't feel amazing. So we're going to focus on the front rows and get into a little bit more of the spinal flexion when we get to being up on the long box. So straps at your armpits. And we're going to think up, like really lift. And then all we go is out, down, up, and milk the circle. Fabulous. And again, out, down, up, and milk the circle. Quite like doing it on that blue reformer because it's heavier. Awesome. So we'll do two more of these. What we're really trying to go with is how strong can I make my torso to give my arms something to do. One more time. Lots of hip stuff coming as well, sorry, but not sorry. Nice. Now we are going to do from the hip, and this is more, you'll do it better than me. So make it quite brutal. So very hard push down to your heels. So if I come with you, we push forward and then roll all the way up, circle, back to the hip. And again, forward, lift up, circle, and around. And again. So if you aim head to knees, that'll give you more of the flexion feeling. If we aim to hinge forward, that's more like a hip hinge, literal. One more of these. Good, nice team. And then once we're all up the way up the top, hands can come together, bring yourselves into cross-legged, and we've got shaving and hug. So I like a fist together for shaving so that our knuckles can come together behind our head. And then give it a good press. You all right? Dying of the plague over here, but that's okay. So the more your head looks up and forward, the better access we have to our back muscles as well. So it's all well and good to push forward for people, but you guys can go right up for this one, which is a bit of a fun time. Plus we want to do it in teaser and horseback one day, right? So we're pressing forward, arms out to a hug position, and let's bring it in. So using the cues we've been working on here, so palms or back of hands reach outward or forward. Back of hands reach forward. Excellent. 3 more times. Good, 1 more. Fabulous. And then come all the way in. So this is where the real fun begins. So let's grab our long box, pop that on. So long box, apart from horseback really, is one of my least favorite things to do at the moment. So I've had to come up with some interesting ways to do stuff. So we're actually going to do swan face forward. So laying on our front. And what we're trying to get out of our swan today, even though because it's a more basic version, the trick is to get a real big squeeze between you, like in the spine section between your shoulders. So what that feels like is it's more about if you grabbed like your spine bones and tried to squeeze them, that's what we're going for. And no, it might not necessarily feel like a muscle feeling, but it will feel like pressure, I suppose is a good way to describe it. But you guys will give me much better ways to say that as well. So if we bring ourselves down, hands are relatively wide, probably about 1 spring-ish, and then very straight legs. And let's just press out and in a couple of times just to get our handstand feelings happening. So when we're actually doing our shoulder press, you can over press, like really go. Yeah, like more than you ever think. 2 more of those. And then on this last one, we're going to hold. So as you are, now head lifts up. When we start to come up, that's the feeling of your spine squeezing. Now you can keep going, but I quite like to hang in this little first phase for a few goes and then gradually build up. So you can try that out until you go, yep, I'm ready to go all the way. Oh, everything just cracked then. So yeah, a bit of a spine squeeze, then lift. And we want a good 3 more. Okay. Last time. And then if we just bend our elbows, come all the way back in, this is like strange twisty thing number 2. So what we're going to do with the next part of this, we are going to add the swan to it. But if we all bend, say, our right leg, turn around and look at it, come back through the middle, bend the left leg, turn around and look at it, come back to the middle. So what this is doing for us, because we're having to turn our body around, it's giving us some sense of rotation. Now we can also add this into the swan. So if I bend one leg, lift up and look, press back out. Bend the other leg, lift up and look. Oh, much better on that side. Yeah, that's quite a fun one. So it's kind of like half rocking from the mat work, just on a reformer. You can change the way you look. So say you bend your left leg, you can look to the right. Bend the right leg, look to the left. And we'll do 2 more. So in total. And 1. And then bring yourselves back in. Foot bar can go down. And we are going to turn around and do pulling straps. You ready, Leonie? Boom. So pulling straps is like notoriously that one I'm always like dripping with sweat for. So let's bring ourselves laying to face the back. Hold your straps in a position that is far enough to feel like it's tight, but not ridiculous that you can't pull your arms up. So the big thing about pulling straps, if we've got rib stuff happening, is it's so much more about arms than back extension. So what we want to get is when you're laying on your box, try and feel out in your rib cage where you're still attached, and that part stays attached the whole time. So if I've just got my boobs over the edge, I can feel the base of my ribs pretty heavily on the box, and it's going to stay there. So all I'm really looking for is how much length I can give myself and just a little lift in back extension. So it's much more of an arm bias than a back extension bias. So if we pull our arms up to our hips, just think forward, lower down, and we do that again. So just think forward and then lower down. Exactly. So for most of us, we can just lift our arms up as high as they can go. That's it, Carly, much better. Yeah, I can still look while I'm doing this. 2 more times only. Now, the next time we lift up, we're going to hold that spot, really squeeze between your shoulders, and then take your arms open to a T. So T pull. And then we're going to come in and open. And the goal is to hold your arms up as much as you can. 2 more times. Good, 1 more. And then straps can come down. Hang them up. And then we practice our teaser shapes. So position does matter in these moments, just because it helps you to get what you need out of your torso rather than thinking about specific body parts. So while we're prepping for teaser, one of the good things I've managed to be able to figure out again is how to roll backward. So this is really where our teaser shapes come in a way that we can actually use them again. So this is seated rollback is one of the best things you can do for your thoracic and ribs people, or neck people as well, because they're still able to get strength in flexion, but we don't have to worry about lifting from the bottom. So if we start hands under our thighs, and then first thing we're going to do is like pull really hard, like pull yourself into your knees. And if you manage to get a stretch somewhere in your back, especially if it's the lower half, then just try and lift up in your body. I look quite flat when I do this, but it feels quite good. Now, this is a lot about where to pivot on your hips as well. So if we hold that shape, roll back, and then roll forward again. So the thing we've got to get used to here is really sitting in our pelvis. So the minute we lose that feeling, we roll back a lot more, but it pops your flexion into a funky position. So this is a lot about how do we actually hold the length of the shape to be able to move it around. So at the moment, mine feels like a weird flat back, like a not quite flat back. Hands out in front if you want to try no hands. Well, that's not bad. So it can feel quite backy, quite abby. But the length is what matters here. So let's give ourselves 1 more. Pause somewhere and then just bring your legs up. So I had my legs on the foot bar. Yeah. So from this spot, we can go legs out straight, bring them in. And again, legs out straight, bring them in. 1 more time, bring them in. feet down, roll back up. So this one at the moment, I have to do this before I do any kind of rolling up because it gets me in my hips. And when I don't have that happening, it's far too easy just to roll into a funky pattern that feels quite, it's kind of like, it's a sharp pain. So that's a really important part. The second part of this is when you see me do teaser, it's kind of like a roll up at this point in time. So we are going to practice the hip version of this too. So if you scoot back a little bit, if you can put your hands on the side of the box, do. If they need to go forward or back, also fine. But we're going to straighten our legs in front of us, push down really hard on the box as if we're going to lift ourselves off, and we lift our legs and lower. And again, we're going to do this 3 more times. And 2. And 1. Oh, Erica, bloody good. I know, look at that one. So this is kind of how we're going to do teaser in its own way. We can pick up our straps. So I use 2 springs for me. Leonie will probably use 1 on her machine. And we're actually going to start from the top. So once we're up, it's going to give us a good spot to be. So all we're going to do is take our legs out straight. So that's our up. Big scoop forward, like we're doing spine stretch. And then we roll down. Thank you, Leonie. It is horseback. And then all we do is the same thing. So rolling up, legs forward, weird roll up. Exactly. And then roll all the way back down. So the pivot on the hips is really important. Fabulous. How's that, Leonie? Weird teaser. Nice, Jen. I know you're a good teaser, Jen. Now, for those of you who are lifting your legs, go for it. So teaser proper. Excellent. And down 1 more time. Now pause at the top. You guys can do this. So keep a good pressure forward with your hands. Legs lower down. Legs lift up. Nice. Legs lower down. Legs lift up. 1 more time. Excellent. And then everything down. Whoa, get rid of your straps. It's a fun time, isn't it? Oh, what am I saying? Why are we getting rid of our straps when it's time for horseback? Because it's the best exercise ever. You all know this. So essentially, we've just done that. Nice interlude, Alana. I like this. This is something we can do today, for sure. All right. So essentially, it's like what we just did is the same as horseback, except we're lifting from a different area. So we want to have our knee bones being able to press into the box from the side. The arms are the same. Oh, that's a bit much spring. So I'm down on 1 spring, and that feels about right. So when we're getting ready for horseback, we've got to think of the roll back that we did earlier. So if we're actually going backward a little bit, that's our shape. And for some of us, that's a good place to actually be able to get our length. It's a massive, makes a big difference to how it feels for me, even though I love horseback anyway. So if we get a roll back, press the box, then just pivot forward on your hips. Now press and lift. Oh, easy. Roll down. If you want to take the roll back again, you can. So it's a roll back, press the box, pivot forward, then finish it off with the lift, and then lower down. So for the non-horsebackers, that's a way you can figure out how to get the pivot. And the pivot really happens from your knees. Nice, Carly. Yeah. So the lean back is kind of like, I'd think of that as push through from the Cadillac is what we're doing right now. So it's the roll back, and then the pivot forward. Yeah, super good. There you go. Your knees don't push into the box. Press your hamstring flesh into the box. That you can do. Excellent. So hamstring flesh is another thing. Fab. One more time. Why am I not doing this? It's the best exercise. I know. Good. And then lower out of it. I'm going to hang up our straps. Legit. Pop your box to the side. We'll come back to that. And then we've got the long stretch series, which can be a bit interesting as well. So if we spring 4 long stretch, so for me it's 2 springs. If you're on a contemporary reformer, around 2 red. Around 2 red. Headrest up. Foot bar up. Rad. Alrighty, so getting on for long stretch, the important part for if I'm planking at the moment is hips up. So if my hips drop too much, that pulls a lot on my rib cage, which does strange things. So we're going to think a little bit more of like a really like hollow shape as best we can. So if we climb on, hands onto the foot bar first, straight leg will step into the headrest, second leg in, and there's our plank shape. So heavy tuck. Then really for me, it's not going to be much of a press because the pull in is the shitty part. But for you, go to town today. So anything that's held is actually quite okay. When we move around a lot is when pain kind of comes in there. 2 more only. And 1. Then holding at the stopper, eyes up, knees down. Reset your feet for down stretch. And this one is less back bendy at the moment. It's more like planky down stretch. So hips forward, chest up, and the same as before, you press to where you can press and then come back in. So it's that same real squeeze of your bones between your shoulders. The really interesting thing I've been playing with is how much I can actually push in my feet, because bent legs feel really supportive. So it's really working on how much I can actually push backward. And we're going to have a play with this in another exercise in a second. Awesome. 1 more time only. And then if we hold into the stopper, we go 1 arm up, other arm up, go onto your fingertips. Woo. 1 arm up, other arm up, both arms up. Oh, magic. Both arms up. There we go. Magic. We're not going to do up stretch because that sucks. We are going to do elephant. So if we stand, round spine for elephant. So really working equal pressure, equal weight distribution between hands and feet. So if you were upside down, we'd be in horseback or teaser. So it's that hip pivot again. And then toes lifting. Let's press back, pull forward. So if you think about the sitting on the box leg lifts we did earlier, this is the same. So the feeling that you got for that, add it in a bit more here. So way rounder spines, way rounder spines. So instead of worrying so much about a hip hinge, super round. Excellent. Then count another 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Left leg to the side, and we do single. We count 4, 3, 2, 1. Right leg to the side. We count 4, 3, 2, 1. Left leg forward. Boom. And we count 1, 2, 3, 4. Right leg forward. 1, 2, 3, 4. Super good. Hey, long back stretch is a doable thing. So we're going to do it. So if we're we want to do our transitions well, we're going to come in from standing. So when we come into long back stretch, hand to the bar, foot to the shoulder block, other hand, other foot. And we're ready to go. So strong legs, tricep dip, press away, hips up, bring it in, down, away, in. 2 more, down, away, in. Last one, down, away, in. If you can reverse, let's try 3. So Leonie's giving you the reverse. That's not in my wheelhouse at the moment. Last one, bring it in, step on off. Ooh, good times. Definitely stomach massage, because that's one of the best flexion you can do for someone with thoracic rib neck, because it's a sitting exercise. So if we pop our sticky mats just to the edge of our reformer, footwork springs for this one. So whatever you did for footwork, we're going to do again. If you're on the classicals, just start with 4 and then move down. Do you want to do 3 for yours? 4? Okay. And then if you're on Erica and Alana, just choose your footwork springs is fine. So we're going to start, you're going to regret that, Leonie, towards the front edge of our carriage. Now, if you're relatively flexible in your kit, if you press out a little bit, you're going to get a much more fun time with your spine. So this is a good little trick to have, because you can actually lean forward, and that's going to help us with our roundness. Then all we do is press out, lower lift, return. Again, out, lower lift, return. I need to take my socks off. They're getting annoying. Out, lower lift, return. We count 2 more. Last one. If you need to spring down for flat back, please do. Hands behind you on the shoulder blocks, either straight or fists down on the carriage. And here's our long situation again. So it's the same thing. Press away, lower lift, return. So if we keep leaning forward, it gives us that same hip feeling that we were doing on the box earlier. I love stomach massage now. I remember a time I didn't though. They are there. Yeah. So that's an option as well. That's better for you. Good for people who don't have the wrist thing. Last one. Let's all spring down one more for reach and twist. Arms forward. Now this is just a straight press out and a straight pull in. So there's no calf raise with this guy. The more you think up, the better this does. And I've really got to hold on here because I know it's good. It's just hard. Last one. Now this twist is a little bit weird too. So when we go out, yes, you can twist all the way. I'm going to grab the shoulder block so that I can actually turn myself around. Bring it back in, press away, shoulder block so I can turn and in and out. Good. One more to either side, so we've got about 6. Last time through. Bring it all the way back in, and then we can step off. So I think one of the things I've discovered is the more ab bracing I do, or the more I try and recruit or whatever, clench my abs, the worse my rib feels. So like working out of that, that notion of having to be tense in abs all the time does not work all the time. So there was a few weeks that I was pretty much not doing any kind of ab anything because it was just far too painful. And stomach massage was one of the good ones because it's more of a full, you can push with your legs and you've got more bits to help you do things rather than brute twisting that doesn't always feel good. So that's just something else I discovered along the way. Tendon stretch. Now, Jen doesn't like the preps. She's a bit scared of the preps. So we'll do it nicely together. So we are going to do the preps because this makes a big difference to my tendon stretch is actually the preps. You all right, Leonie? Yep, great. Hands onto the shoulder blocks. Stand up onto your reformer. And then just take a walk back so your heels are toward the edge but not off. And then we're just going to do those little inchworms again. So walking into our feet and then walking back up. And again, walking into our feet and walking back up. So I've done this a bunch of times, so it's not super scary or hard anymore because I know where to stand in my feet, which I think is the main part of this. Now, the next time we reach our shoulder blocks, we're going to take our heels off the edge and just do a bunch of like calf raises. This one's great. So for those of us who have tense calves and feet but don't struggle to kind of fold ourselves in half, I find tendon stretch one of the stretchiest exercises. But if I've actually warmed up my feet and my calves, it's not so horrible. One more and we'll hold for a little stretch and just let it feel good. Fab. Now, if we position our feet as if we're going to do tendon stretch, so heels just off the carriage, then we're just going to walk our hands all the way back to our foot bar. So mine's not big, and what I'm actually thinking of when I'm actually doing tendon stretch, it's not about pushing the carriage up, but it's how much I can lift my leg toward my chest. So if you were to push your carriage away, think, how could I actually lift my legs toward my chest and then return? How could I lift my legs toward my chest and then return? So that does the job of taking the tension out of my upper abs so I can actually do some of the exercise. And it's gotten a lot better since I practiced that. If you want to do singles, go ahead. So you can take one leg out to the side. It's the same premise. So a little move and then pull back in. So trying probably 3 to each side. And then once you're done, hands can walk back to your shoulder blocks. Where have you gone, Leonie? Have a little moment there. Let yourself hang down for a stretch. Good. And then we're just going to kneel down. So for pretty much, probably for everyone, pop a bunch of springs on. So I would do all. We're going to do, this is kind of like a semicircle prep thing. I think that's a name, semicircle prep thing. It is now. So facing the same way, what we're going to do is lean our, what you can lean is like the sticky part of your upper back onto the foot bar. This is like coming out of my greatest hits when I was teaching a lot of reformer class back in the, like 100 years ago. Probably, yeah, Leonie, I'd probably like bring you up. Special student over here. So from here, what we're going to do is just take hands behind our head and then just go for a back bend over your bar. Oh, that's good. And then just curl back forward and again, off we go. So it's just going to give us a little bit more back extension for when we're going to do semicircle in about 60 seconds. So you can take it as smaller as big range as you want. I always find once I've started, I find the other spot, like the real stiff spot, which is very high in my ribs. And again, we're thinking about what's my length here. So the more we can figure out what the back length and strength feels like, it helps you out with what's happening in the front of the rib cage. A bit of a pull in your head will make a difference. And we'll count 2 more. On your last one, hold back and just let your body sink into that position, regardless of what really happens. So if your shoulders do something weird or your head does something weird, doesn't matter so much, but just let your top half get a bit of a bend. Excellent. Now, as we come forward, we can kind of use that same theory again, doing semicircle. So I'm going to do it on 2 springs. Traditionally, we go foot bar down on the classical reformer, but Leonie likes foot bar up, so I'm going to do that today as well with her. If you're on the contemporaries, definitely keep your foot bar up. So Jen and Carly, you've got a choice whether you want to go up or down. And then laying yourselves down onto your reformer, toes on the bar in V, and we're just going to push our carriage out from underneath us. And get a really good, hello microphone, really good knees forward over the bar. Whoop. Okay. So where you want to be set up on your reformer is pretty much how much do I need to go before you have to reach for your shoulder blocks. So come down a lot more than you think. I know no one can probably hear me right now, but that's super fine. Okie doke. So from this spot, all we're going to do is press away, roll down. Oh, I know what the difference is, Leonie. Roll all the way down into the springs, return, and roll up. It shortens the machine. That's my jam.
Oh, yeah.
I need more range. I don't think so. I think my legs are too long. Oh, that's better. So when we press away, think of where you were rolling down on the foot bar when we were doing the little back extension exercise, because that makes a big difference to how we go down. Yeah, there we go. Big stretch forward over your bar. And you can bias more of a back bend shape now. Reverse if you haven't already. So rolling down first. Oops, press away. Roll up. 2 more of those. Nice team. And then when you finish your final one, if you can reach your ankles or the foot bar, go for it. And have a little hold. So you can push up through your hips and get that real back bend shape. I'm being a bit of a cheater and sitting on my butt on my heels, which feels great. Then we can just reach back and slide ourselves back on. Easy. Alrighty, so bringing ourselves up. We're going to keep the foot bar down for now because we're going to do side splits today. So when you're coming on for side splits on any reformer, you want to step on the frame before you step on the carriage itself. I go 1 spring for side splits. And this is a good one when you're trying to get some side work in, but maybe side bending isn't the greatest thing in the history of time. So if we step on, I step about halfway down. That's my kind of like the sweet spot. And then really tuck through the hip. And then all we do from here is press away and pull in. So the whole time we're tucking a little bit more than we think. Well, this is good. I haven't been able to do this with my foot. Oh, here we go. So further out, the more we're going to try and tuck for this one. The other thing I'm trying to think of at the same time is not so much just inner thighs, but how do I get the entire two halves of my body, especially on the sides, to be doing something? And this is a good one to feel that length as well. So the less pressure is in the rib cage, the better. And this is one of them. One more on this side. Step off and we'll try the other side as well. Great. Now, anyone on the classical machines, you only need to do one side technically, but you're going to do two, because why not? So same kind of thing. If we tuck, strong knees, and then you can press out and in. So you want to give it like a good press out as well. If you're already pretty decent at doing this exercise, you can absolutely walk your foot out more, which will make the exercise feel stronger. Unless you got dodgy hips. However, think of like all the side body also pulling together. So it's not just legs. Literally use your waist, your hips, your shoulders, anything that's going to give you just some more muscles to lift you up. I think one more is totally fine. Fab. And then we'll come down to kneel on our reformer. Pop the foot bar up. So for front splits, I like 2 springs. If you're on contemporary reformers, I would have done this on 2 reds or a red and a blue. And then kneeling onto our carriage, let's take left foot up on the bar, right knee down. Now, the first thing we're actually going to do here is pull ourselves in as far as possible. So it's like we're doing down stretch with one leg. What we want to think about is I just want you to do like a little self-assessment and ask yourself if you're trying to tense or brace your abs, and totally let it go. Totally let it go. Then we can actually sit our rib cage a little bit closer to our thigh, and that's where it's going to stay. So while we're pressing out into our lunge, just keep checking in and asking yourself, am I tensing my ribs to do this, or am I letting my legs do it? So if we're trying to press away, I'm just letting my rib cage just sit on top of my thigh. Then bring yourself in. And the goal is to alleviate some of the tension from the front body. Oh, I need a longer reformer. Excellent. And that will depends literally on you as to how this stretch goes. So ribs on thigh can feel quite good. One more to hold. Take a few breaths. And then when we come in, we're going to lift our right arm to the sky and go for a little side bend. And just hold on there for a couple of breaths. Super. Unwind from there. Switch sides. Other foot goes up. And again, all we're going to do is just let ourselves sit into this start position so that our body can get into a spot that's not too tense for today. So again, if you can feel your rib cage trying to hold on really tight, just let it go for now. And then once we're there, rib on thigh, and we press away. Well, this is like 20 times stronger. And then bring yourselves in. And again. So it's a lot more about pressing that back leg out. what it feels like for me when I'm doing this is my two legs stay the same distance apart. So my knees keep getting further from each other. And that's what makes the difference in how I hold the position. So rather than kind of bringing the back knee in and out or just straightening and bending the front leg, it's trying to hold that distance between our two knees. So it feels quite interesting. We'll press back and hold on this last one. Nicely, Ernie. Come all the way back into your stopper. This time left arm to the sky and go for a bit of a lean. Take one more breath and then unwind. Ooh, get yourself out of the foot bar. And that's it. Rib friendly OG class. You can do box work as well within that program, but the movement is just so minuscule at the moment. It's kind of almost unnecessary unless I'm practicing to build up to it again. So that's something I'm working on. But hopefully it just gives you a little bit more of an idea of how you can still keep things challenging when someone has, like thoracic, shoulder or neck things happening. So if you want it, like my rib issue is rib 8. So it's like halfway down-ish. And that's the one that just pinches and does strange things. So that's more of what I'm working on now. But a lot of it had to do with alleviating abdominal tension, I think, in the end, that I'm still playing with to this day. So yeah, hope you had fun. Jen's client's here, so she's got to go. But you can play too, that's fine.
Thanks, Jess.
No worries, Jen. Good
Yeah.
work today. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. See you, everyone.
Bye, Bear.
Bye.
Bye. Any questions about any of what we did today? Maybe
Maybe
never.
later.
Maybe later.
Yeah,
Thanks for
decompress.
playing, friends. I know, look
Um,
at there.
But my back feels amazing.
Yeah, it's like think longer. That's instead of like how much can I round myself, a lot longer ends up feeling stronger, even though it's flatter looking, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I loved how that fed throughout the whole class.
Yeah, it's the only thing that really, like, if I figured if I can get that feeling back, then it's not so not so extreme flexion. So that's helped me with my inversion stuff too, because I can hold a bit better at the top rather than being like, whoa, like everything's like life wobble. So yeah, but I think like if we're looking at that type of person, like seated anything feels a lot better than lifting from below. Like I can do teaser on the reformer, not teaser, 100 on the reformer sometimes. So when my arms are doing something, it's doable on different days. Today it wasn't doable when I practiced it earlier. So we did the other one that I've been doing. So yeah. Just a bit of a chocolate spice today.
Loved it. I felt like it also helped with my tendon stretch though.
Hey.
My tendon stretch felt longer.
Awesome.
And I felt like I could actually access more.
Yeah, I like
shape
it.
from it. Yeah.
Yeah, that actually felt good for me today too. Yeah, so the preps do help. And I was, like talking to someone earlier and she plays tennis and she's like, I can't believe how many people don't warm up for tennis. And I'm like, oh, got to warm up for tendon stretch then.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. Awesome, friends. We've got
Thanks
to roll.
Thank you so much.
Have the best
Awesome.
week. If you have questions, let us know. Does anyone want the recording? So I've had some recordings. Okay, I'll just email it, and if you use it, go for it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, team. Thanks.
Bye,
for
everyone.
Bye. Bye.